Well, hello again. This is Bill Eshenbaugh, the dirt dog of Eshenbaugh Land Company in Tampa, Florida. Here we are in the springtime of 2024. And this morning, this is really a great pleasure for me to welcome a new team member to our organization, Vaike O'Grady. Vaike, nice to have you on board.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Great. First of all, tell me about your name. It's kind of an interesting name.
Yeah.
Kind of a couple combinations of maybe Eastern Europe and Irish,
That's
and
right. That's right.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I am named Vaike after my grandmother, who was Estonian. My grandmother and grandfather escaped Stalin in Russia, brought my dad over. And when I was little, she would tell me, "You are Vaike of the Vikings, never forget." So I was Vaike Taltz, and then I got married to an Irish guy and became Vaike O'Grady, which doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but it's memorable, for good or for bad.
Well, and that's half this business is being memorable. My lot in life is named Eshenbaugh, which is not an easy one, particularly here in the South. I lived in Pittsburgh; it was one of the easier names there. Yeah. But I was lucky enough to have the dirt dog, and more people call me dirt dog than do Eshenbaugh. So as long as we're remembered by somebody as something, I guess that's what's important to us, right? Mm-hmm. You have a pretty interesting educational background. You probably have one designation that none of us have here. Tell us about your background.
Well, I grew up in Maryland, and so I went to school at Loyola College at the time in Baltimore, which was a great experience for me. Small college is now a university. Started my career in real estate like a lot of people do. I fell into it. And Ryland Homes was headquartered in Maryland. And after a stint at the Homebuilders Association, I went to work for Ryland Homes in their corporate office. And along the way, there came an opportunity for us to come down to Florida.
And you were fairly high up ranking in your class. You were...
Oh, I was summa cum laude.
Yeah.
I wasn't good. I was wondering what you meant.
Well,
yeah, I did pretty well. It was a long time ago.
I think most of us were happy to get out with about a 2.3 and not go to Vietnam or Iraq or somewhere along the way. So we're grateful for educational background. Mm-hmm. You were here, you were in Texas, and you were here. Mm-hmm. I knew you when you were here originally, I think.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about what brought you back to Florida.
Yeah.
And where were you in Texas?
Yeah, so I was in Florida during the heyday. I was in Orlando and then Tampa from 2003 to 2010, working for Newland Communities. It was a great time to be here until about 2008. And then the faucet just shut off. And Newland wanted to keep me, and I wanted to stay working with Newland. But the opportunity arose to go to Austin, Texas, and work there as a regional marketing person for Newland. And at that time, Austin was on fire, and it was a great opportunity for our family. We were kind of ready for a change. We went to Austin for 11 years. And during that time, of course, COVID hit. I had made a change from Newland. I had gone to work with Metro Study. I'd love to share more about that. But COVID coming and my dad passing, I decided it was time to get back home to family. And thus I came back to Florida in 2021, and that will be my home going forward.
Well, that's terrific. I spent my whole real estate career here since 1983, where Tampa was a tertiary market. We had to bow and scrape to Austin and sometimes to Charlotte and Nashville and all those kind of places. So I'm still having a realism check about us being maybe number one or something right up in the ranks with the rest of them. So it's good to have you on board where you experienced being maybe the hottest market ever in the country at Austin and now here, which we're not second fiddle to anybody, I don't think. So it's good to have you back here, and your Metro Study / Zonda experience had to be good for you too.
Absolutely.
In your focus now, tell us about thinking about home builders. What do you see as your future there?
Well, I started my career actually, as I said, with Ryland Homes as a home builder, and I also worked with some regional builders. So I kind of understand the builder mentality and what's important to them. And then I flipped over and worked with developers. So I got both sides of the coin, large master plan community development and home building. And what I'm seeing as I'm spending more time in this market is that as Tampa builds out, the activity is going north and it's going east. It's also going to the south. But I'm in the north and the east side. I live in Leesburg now, and I'm seeing tremendous opportunities as we come out of Orlando into Lake County, out of Tampa into Hernando and Citrus County. Wildwood, Mount Dora, all of the smaller cities that have become so attractive to people. So as a home builder, I think it's a great place to explore.
Well, you know, in the history of our firm, we've actually never gone out and recruited anyone to come on board as a sales associate or a broker with us. And you're in the same boat. You came to us. Tell us why Eshenbaugh and
Sure.
why land?
Well, let me share a couple of stories. One is that I knew Bill, of course, back before I left for Austin. And when I came back to Tampa, one of the first people I saw from afar in a restaurant in New Tampa was Bill having dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, Bill's still doing what he's doing. And Eshenbaugh name has just such a huge, there's such a huge respect for it in the Tampa market. And as we've talked about with the market growing now beyond sort of what's considered Tampa itself, I see a real opportunity for Eshenbaugh to be of service in Central Florida. And I think I could play a role there. At least I'd like to hope so.
Good. Well, those who follow us know that we've gradually grown north. And, you know, it was Pasco at one time, then it was Hernando, now Citrus. And Marion, we've not had much presence. We did one deal in Tavares a couple of years ago on a senior deal with Coulter, but not much presence up there, and not enough presence maybe in eastern Polk and so forth. So when you came to us, I said, wow, this is perfect. You're in Leesburg, and you're brand new licensee, but I think we can teach you how to broker. You know what builders want and where they want to be, and the players in that game. So we found this to be really an attractive opportunity for us. I know you've been involved in ULI. You were district council chair maybe in Texas. I know I've seen you here and a lot of involvement, and every time I go to ULI, you're there.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you're doing with ULI locally now and on that level.
Well, the Urban Land Institute is such a great organization for those who are involved in development as a whole, certainly for residential developers. And what's wonderful about ULI is it's all about education. And I've been active. I was active in Austin. I had a couple of committee roles before they asked me to be the district chair, which I was doing right up until 21. So I had the pleasure of trying to do Zoom meetings for ULI events during the pandemic. But then I came here, and after a couple of years working with Metro Development Group, I decided I needed to get more engaged with ULI. And so I've been working on the ULI Tampa district to help with suburban land. I've been on the Suburban Land Committee, working with some folks here in Tampa, and then on the Florida Product Council, which will have a big meeting here next week. So proud to be associated with ULI. It's been a great organization to help me learn and grow, and also to network with people.
Well, you hit on a hot note for me because obviously Eshenbaugh starts with a big E, and we have 5 big E's here, and one of them is education. So thanks for tapping that note for us today. So what do you see as your focus in the next few months as we start this new adventure together?
Well, I've got to get some boots, apparently. And I'll be digging into Lake County and really trying to understand that market thoroughly. Lake County, Marion County, Sumter County, and the like, building my network into Central Florida and into Orlando, understanding the land, walking the land is so important for the Eshenbaugh Land Company, and just really digging in. So I'm really excited about the opportunity and really hope to be of service.
Well, it sounds like we've got your focus in good shape. If someone is intrigued by our little video here this morning, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, there are 2 ways. You can email me, and I'm going to spell Vaike for you because it's a tricky one, VAIKE @thedirtdog.com. Or you can call me, 813-287-8787, extension 15, and I'll be glad to take your call.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you were able to join me this morning and do our little adventure here together.
Me too,
We look
Bill.
forward to a really good future together and a lot of fun in Lake County and other places out that way. It's just going to be a real pleasure to have you on board. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a
Glad
great
to
one.
be here.
Thanks, folks.